Hello, this is Demetria Clark, the director of Heart of Herbs Herbal School. And today on the Heart of Herbs Herbal School podcast, we're going to talk about herbs that support healthy cholesterol naturally. So let me start with saying something I say to students all the time, and I mean this with complete sincerity. Your body is not broken. Your cholesterol numbers are a signal, not a sentence. They are our body's way of saying, hey, something needs attention here. And what's beautiful about herbal medicine and the way we approach health at Heart of Herbs, we don't just chase numbers, we look at the whole picture. We ask what is the driving imbalance, and we work with the body's own intelligence to support it back towards equilibrium. That said, elevated cholesterol is something that can deserve some real attention, real support, and a real conversation with your healthcare provider. I will say that at the beginning and I will say that at the end because I mean it. What I'm offering today is education, and what you do is a conversation is between you and the people that know your health profile and your healthcare providers. But let's talk about the plants. First, a quick word about cholesterol itself. Before we get to the herbs, I want to make sure we're all working from the same understanding, because cholesterol gets talked about like it's a villain in a bad movie. Actually, that's not accurate. Cholesterol is not your enemy. Your body makes cholesterol because it needs it for building cell membranes, producing hormones, and synthesizing vitamin D for supporting neurological function, and so much more. The problem is not cholesterol itself. The problem is when LDL cholesterol becomes oxidized, when it accumulates in the arterial walls, when inflammation is driving the system in a direction it cannot sustain. That chronic low-grade inflammation process is where the cardiovascular risk lives, which means, and this matters importantly how we look at herbal support, the most powerful things we can do for cholesterol and cardiovascular health are also the most important things we can do for inflammation. So here are some of the plants that you can take a look at. Okay, the first one is red yeast rice. Monascus purpureus or Oryza sativa. And I'm starting here because this one generally can bridge the gap between herbal medicine and pharmaceutical medicine in a way that's worth understanding. Red yeast rice is fermented rice that contains naturally occurring monocolins, including monocolin K, which is chemically identical to lovastatin, a widely prescribed statin medicine, and this is not a coincidence. The pharmaceutical was derived from this traditional Chinese preparation, which has been used for cardiovascular and digestive health in Chinese medicine for centuries. Research on red yeast rice for cholesterol reduction is amongst the most robust of any herbal preparation in this category, with multiple clinical trials showing meaningful reductions in LDL cholesterol. A meta-analysis found it can reduce LDL anywhere from 15 to 25% in some studies, numbers that rival low-dose statin therapy. Important safety notes here, and I want you to hear these clearly. Because red yeast rice contains the same active compound as statin medications, it carries the same potential interactions and contraindications. It should not be combined with prescribed statins. It requires monitoring if you're on other cardiovascular medications. It can deplete CoQ10, so supplementing CoQ10 alongside is often recommended. Pregnancy and breastfeeding are contraindications, and the quality and potency of commercial products varies enormously. This one is where the herb sourcing really, really matters. I think it matters for everything, but really take a look at where this supplement is coming from. Please work with a qualified practitioner on this one. It is powerful medicine and deserves to be treated as such. Alrighty, number 2. Now, this is an herb that we've heard in conjunction with cholesterol since I was a kid. This is garlic, Allium sativum. It is garlic. It has been keeping us healthy and well since its documented times in ancient Egypt. Okay. It deserves a lot of its legendary reputation. Garlic's primary active compound, allicin, is produced when the clove is crushed or chopped. So when you prepare your garlic, the way that you do it actually matters. Raw or minimally cooked fresh garlic, freshly crushed. So if I'm using garlic for food, I basically peel the clove and just I smush it with the knife blade, like crush it down. This I find is an easy way to do it, and it gives me the therapeutically active form. Aged garlic extract is the form most studied in clinical trials, and it has the most consistent evidence behind it. The research on garlic and cardiovascular health is substantial. It has been shown to modestly reduce total cholesterol and LDL, reduce triglycerides, and improve LDL to HDL ratio. Perhaps even more importantly, it reduces the oxidation of LDL cholesterol and helps to lower blood pressure. It is also a significant anti-inflammatory and antiplatelet effects, meaning it supports cardiovascular health through multiple pathways of stimulation. This is the beauty of working with whole plants. Daily therapeutic dose, 1 to 2 cloves of garlic a day or aged garlic extract at the researched dosages. Add it to everything. Cook with it generously. Let it be a medicine that you eat. That is one of my favorite kind of herbal practices, is to eat my herbs. It's easy, it's flavorful, it's fun, but there is a caution. Garlic has some blood thinning properties. If you're on an anticoagulant medication like warfarin, work with your provider before adding therapeutic doses of garlic. Also be mindful before any surgical procedures. Number 3, hawthorn. Crataegus, so there's 3 different varieties of this that you can use. If I had to name the single most important herb for heart, this is one that I'd want on everyone's daily list and daily life. It is a food medicine. You can use it as a jam. You can use it as a syrup. You can take it as a tea. Hawthorn is the herb of the heart in every sense of the word. It supports cardiovascular system structurally, functionally, improves the strength and efficiency of the heart muscle, dilates coronary arteries to improve blood flow, reduces arterial stiffness, lowers blood pressure gently, and has significant antioxidant activity that helps protect the arterial walls from oxidative damage, which is precisely the process that leads to plaque formation and cardiovascular disease. For cholesterol specifically, hawthorn's flavonoids, particularly paranthocyanins, I always say this stuff wrong, and Vitexin, have been shown to reduce LDL oxidation and support healthy lipid metabolization. Research in patients with mild to moderate heart failure have shown consistent benefits. Hawthorn is widely used in integrative cardiovascular medicine throughout Europe. The berries, leaves, and flowers all carry medicine with slightly different constituent profiles. Hawthorn berry tincture extract is the one that's most commonly used clinically. Tea from the dried berries and flowers is a gentle daily tonic, and this tonic herb is one that builds benefits over time. Consistent use over months and years is where hawthorn truly shines. Caution. Hawthorn can interact with cardiac glycoside medications like digoxin and can enhance the effects of antihypertensive drugs. If you are on a cardiac medication, please work with your healthcare provider before adding therapeutic hawthorn. Okay, number 4, artichoke leaf. Not the artichoke heart that you eat at the dinner table, though that is lovely, but the leaf of the artichoke plant, which is where the real medicine lives, and it has significant growing body of clinical evidence behind it for cholesterol support. Artichoke leaf is a bitter digestive herb and a potent liver tonic. It stimulates bile production and bile flow, which is directly relevant to cholesterol metabolization. Bile is made from cholesterol, and increasing bile flow is one of the mechanisms by which the body eliminates excess cholesterol. It also contains cynarin and luteolin, compounds which have been shown to inhibit cholesterol synthesis in the liver and reduce LDL oxidation. This is one of those herbs where the bitter taste is actually part of the medicine. It stimulates digestive secretions, including bile, which is part of why the bitter herbs are been at the center of digestion and liver support for centuries. So this is an herb that you can definitely learn more about with cholesterol reduction. Turmeric, number 5. So if you knew turmeric was going to be on this list, then you know she absolutely belongs here. So we've talked in length in other episodes about this great herb and its anti-inflammatory properties. Inflammation is central to the cardiovascular disease story. But for cholesterol specifically, turmeric has shown an ability to reduce LDL cholesterol, total cholesterol, reduce LDL oxidation, which is a truly dangerous process in which cardiovascular disease lives, and it can help improve endothelial function, meaning that the health and responsiveness of the blood vessel walls themselves is coming into play. So turmeric is not just a great cholesterol herb, but it's also a great anti-inflammatory herb. Number 6 is reishi mushroom. Okay, I include reishi because it sits at the intersection of immune modulation, adaptogenic support, and cardiovascular health in a way that's deeply irrelevant to the conversation we're having. Reishi is not just a cholesterol herb, it's a whole system herb, and sometimes that's exactly what you need. So, reishi includes triterpenes and beta-glucans that have been shown to inhibit cholesterol synthesis in the liver, reduce LDL, lower triglycerides, and improve LDL to HDL ratio. It also has significant anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and blood pressure supporting properties. So, this is an herb that you're going to want to learn more about and have on hand when you're thinking about your cholesterol profile. Number 7, bergamot. Citrus bergamia. Bergamot is one of the newer additions, and we are finding more and more clinical evidence to support this. And people mostly know bergamot as the distinctive flavoring in Earl Grey tea. But this is the fruit bergamot, not the plant bergamot. So it's a citrus fruit, and the polyphenols in the bergamot fruit are amazing and have been shown in clinical trials to inhibit the same enzyme that statins drugs target through a slightly different mechanism. In a 2013 clinical trial published in the International Journal of Cardiology, it found that bergamot polyphenol extract produced significant reductions in LDL cholesterol, total cholesterol, and triglycerides while simultaneously raising HDL, a combination which is quite remarkable for single herbal preparation. Subsequent research has continued to support these findings. So, one of the easy ways you could do it is you could drink Earl Grey tea. It has an antioxidant benefit. It's not the same as the therapeutic dose, but it could be a great way to introduce your body to it. Number 8 is fenugreek. Fenugreek is one of the most ancient medicinal herbs in the world, used in Ayurvedic medicine, ancient Egyptian medicine, traditional Mediterranean herbalism for thousands of years. It is primarily known in the West as a galactagogue, an herb that supports milk production in nursing parents, but the cardiovascular benefits are substantial and increasingly well documented. The soluble fiber in fenugreek seeds, particularly a compound called galactomannan, helps reduce the absorption of cholesterol and bile acids from the gut, which lowers circulating LDL cholesterol. Multiple clinical studies have shown meaningful reductions in total cholesterol and LDL with consistent use of fenugreek seed powder, with some studies showing a reduction of 20% or more in total cholesterol. It also supports blood sugar regulation, which is directly relevant to cardiovascular risk. The connection between blood sugar dysregulation, insulin resistance, and lipid abnormalities is well established. So this is a great herb that you can use in your food. It can be ground into food, soaked overnight, and consumed with water, taken in capsule form. The taste is very distinct. It's warm, slightly bitter, with a characteristic maple-like aroma. I often use it in a lot of Indian dishes because I really love Indian food, and so I definitely love using it in that. Here's a caution though: fenugreek may enhance the effects of blood thinning and blood sugar lowering medications. Avoid therapeutic doses in pregnancy as it has uterine stimulating properties. Number 9, holy basil, and this is the teniflorum variety. So there's multiple types of holy basil. And so this is the teniflorum. Tulsi, holy basil, is sacred in Ayurvedic traditions, and once you understand what it does, you'll understand why. It's simultaneously an adaptogen, a nervine, an anti-inflammatory, and a cardiovascular tonic, which makes it one of the most versatile herbs in our entire materia medica. For cholesterol, though, specifically, research has shown that Tulsi can reduce cholesterol, LDL, and triglycerides while modestly raising HDL. The eugenol content has anti-inflammatory and antiplatelet properties also. The adaptogenic activity means it's also working on chronic stress axis that drives so much cardiovascular dysfunction. So a lot of cardiovascular dysfunction is really linked in with our stress levels and our ability to process stress. And I don't know about you guys, but I am always feeling like the stress gauntlet is just getting worse and worse. No matter what, I'm not watching as much news. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that, right? It always feels like it finds us way in. So I love recommending this herb for cholesterol support because it is so gentle, so pleasant, and so nourishing, but it also helps with that stress axis. It's not a dramatic intervention. It's a slow, steady, deeply supporting herbal ally you can drink every day and feel different and better in a dozen different ways. The last one on our list today is Psyllium husk, Plantago ovata. I'm including psyllium here because it has the strongest, most consistent clinical evidence of anything on this list for LDL reduction. Because it is deeply misunderstood as a fiber supplement, it is actually generally a medicinal plant preparation. Psyllium is derived from the seed husk of a species of plantain, the herb, not the vegetable or fruit. It is a soluble fiber that forms a viscous gel in the digestive tract, binding it to bile acids, cholesterol, and pulling them out of circulation before they can be reabsorbed. The FDA has actually approved a health claim for psyllium and reduced cardiovascular risk. The bar for that is extremely high, and psyllium has cleared it. Multiple clinical trials show consistent, meaningful reductions in LDL and total cholesterol, with as little as 10 to 12 grams of psyllium a day. It is a humble and not super glamorous herb, and the reality is everyone thinks of it as the something to help them poop, so it will help with that too. But it is generally pretty safe and works reliably, for most people. How to use: start with 5 grams daily, plenty of water, and you can mix it in your water. You can buy capsules. There's lots of different things that you can do. But always with anything, talk to your care provider before you start anything. So here have been some herbs for cholesterol. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day. If you want to learn more, visit heartofherbs.com for classes, education, and free supportive resources.